Hey everyone! Many souls are saved by small acts of love people barely remember. He explained, grace is not measured by size, but by love. A grain of wheat becomes bread, a drop of water becomes life, a single Hail Mary becomes salvation. He taught that the power of the Hail Mary comes from the name at its center, Jesus. The prayer is like a thread, he said. Mary holds one end, Jesus holds the other, and the soul clings to the middle. Even when prayed quickly, the prayer carries a hidden strength because it unites us with the humility of Mary, the woman who said yes on behalf of all humanity. Padre Pio said, "Mary never forgets a soul who remembers her, even in a whisper." There's a famous testimony from a soldier who came to him after the war. He told Padre Pio that in the middle of a battlefield explosion, he instinctively shouted, "Hail Mary, help me." He survived, but many didn't. Padre Pio listened quietly and then said, "Do you know why you are still alive? Because your cry called your mother. A Hail Mary, said in fear, is still a Hail Mary." The soldier asked if God listens to prayers born of panic. Padre Pio answered, "Especially those. Panic is simply the heart breaking open." He believed that the simplest Hail Mary said in the darkest moment becomes the brightest flame in heaven because it comes from honest need, not pride. Padre Pio also said that Our Lady uses the Hail Mary to reach souls who otherwise could not be touched. Souls hardened by sin, souls dying without the sacraments, souls who pushed God away their entire lives. One Hail Mary, he said, can soften a heart at the last breath. He once told a story about a dying man who had lived in bitterness and refused confession. His family begged Padre Pio for help. He prayed a Hail Mary for the man and asked Our Lady to intervene. Minutes later, the man who had not prayed in 40 years suddenly whispered, "Mother, help me." He asked for a priest. He reconciled. He died in peace. Padre Pio said afterward, "It was not my prayer, it was Mary's presence inside the Hail Mary." He insisted that the Hail Mary is not just a devotional phrase, it is a spiritual force. A soul cannot remain the same after a Hail Mary, he said. It either rises or it trembles. To him, the prayer had a double effect. It purified the one who prayed it, and it opened a path for someone else. Padre Pio even said that some souls receive the grace of final repentance because of Hail Marys prayed decades earlier by parents, grandparents, or even strangers. Mary collects them, he said. She knows when to use them. He described Our Lady as the treasurer of forgotten prayers, keeping every Hail Mary like a jewel until the right moment. And when that moment comes, she uses it to save a soul who believed themselves lost. Padre Pio would repeat, "Do not underestimate the smallest prayer. In heaven, nothing is small." Padre Pio often said that the Hail Mary doesn't just change the person who prays, it changes the world around them. He believed that every time the prayer is spoken, something moves in the invisible realm. A soul receives comfort, an angel receives strength, a heart receives light. Mary is never still, he said. Whenever someone calls her, she runs. One of the most powerful testimonies of this happened during a quiet morning in San Giovanni Rotondo. A young friar entered the choir to find Padre Pio standing completely still, his rosary dangling from his hand. His eyes were open, but he wasn't looking at anything in the room. It was as if he were staring through the walls into another world. The friar approached him, worried. "Father, are you all right?" Padre Pio blinked slowly, returned to himself, and whispered, "Do not disturb them. They are rising." The friar, confused, asked who he meant. Padre Pio replied, "The souls, the ones freed by the Hail Marys prayed this morning." He said he saw them like sparks, rising through a veil of mist, some slowly, some quickly, carried by light that felt almost like wind. And standing among them was the Virgin Mary, gathering them gently, guiding them upward. "She takes each one by the hand," he said, "not because they deserve it, but because someone remembered them." He explained that when people pray the Hail Mary for the souls who have no one to pray for them, heaven reacts immediately. Their suffering is shortened, he said. Their longing becomes hope. The prayer becomes a bridge under their feet. To Padre Pio, this wasn't poetic language. He saw it. He once told a spiritual daughter, "When you pray for someone who has died, your words fall on them like dew in the desert." He described Purgatory as a place of dryness, a burning hunger for the presence of God. A single Hail Mary, he said, is like giving them water that tastes of heaven. There was another moment that shook even the seasoned friars who lived with him. It was late at night, and Padre Pio was praying his rosary in the hallway. Suddenly he stopped and placed his hand over his heart, as if hit by a wave of emotion. Tears filled his eyes. A friar ran to him. "Father, what is happening?" Padre Pio whispered, "A soul has just entered paradise," because of a Hail Mary prayed by a poor old woman who thought she had nothing to offer. Then he added, "Heaven bends down lower for the humblest voices." He believed deeply that the poor, the lonely, the forgotten, those who pray with simple faith often release more souls from purgatory than theologians or scholars. God listens to the heart, he said, and the heart speaks most clearly in the Hail Mary. Padre Pio also spoke about the mysterious timing of the prayer, not in the earthly sense of minutes or hours, but in the divine sense of providence. He insisted that every Hail Mary becomes available to God for the moment it is most needed. Once a man asked him, "Father, does it matter when I pray? What if I pray too late?" Padre Pio shook his head and said, "There is no too late with God. Your prayer today can save a soul yesterday." The man stared at him, stunned. Padre Pio continued, "We live in time, God does not. The Hail Mary you offer now becomes a grace placed into the moment God chooses." To him, the Hail Mary was a kind of spiritual currency, something Mary could spend wherever it was most needed. No prayer was ever wasted, no prayer was ever small, no prayer ever failed. He said the rosary was like a rope thrown into the hearts of those sinking, and that every Hail Mary was one more knot making the rope longer, stronger, easier to grasp. Many souls, he said, are saved because someone refused to stop praying. Padre Pio often spoke of the mysterious exchange of graces that happens after we die. He said that souls who reach heaven because of our Hail Marys become protectors of our families. They intercede day and night. He said their gratitude is like a river. Once a woman grieving her child came to him and asked, "Father, if my child is in heaven, will he help me?" Padre Pio answered, "He already has. He is praying for your family because you prayed for him. Heaven remembers." He believed this mutual exchange between earth and heaven was one of God's greatest gifts. "We are never alone," he said. "Every Hail Mary ties us to someone waiting for us in eternity." One of the most unforgettable stories came from a doctor who was present the night Padre Pio collapsed from exhaustion. They carried him to his cell, and even as he drifted in and out of consciousness, his fingers kept moving over his rosary beads. The doctor asked him gently, "Father, why push yourself? You need rest." Padre Pio answered without opening his eyes, "If I stop, a soul may wait longer for light. And if one Hail Mary can shorten that waiting, how can I rest?" Then he whispered, "Our Lady never sleeps." This phrase became famous among the friars. Padre Pio believed Mary was constantly active, constantly searching, constantly visiting souls with the prayers entrusted to her. "She walks through purgatory like a mother walking through a hospital," he said, touching the wounds of her children. He even described seeing her bending over certain souls, almost the way a mother bends over a child in bed. And every time she was holding something, the rosaries and Hail Marys offered by the living. She carries them like bread, Padre Pio said, and she feeds the souls with them. He insisted that Mary's greatest joy is bringing souls to her Son, especially souls who believed they were unworthy. She takes the prayers we give her, he said, and makes them beautiful. Toward the end of his life, when his hands shook too much to hold the rosary tightly, the friars would take turns helping him guide the beads. But even then, even as his voice weakened, he whispered every Hail Mary with the same devotion he had as a young man. A friar once asked him, "Father, what is the Hail Mary to you?" Padre Pio thought for a moment and said, It is the key to mercy. It opens doors no one else can open. He believed that when a person dies, the Hail Marys they prayed throughout their life become like lanterns lighting their path, guiding them through fear, comforting them in judgment, embracing them in hope. And for the souls still waiting for heaven, he said, the Hail Mary is like sunrise. He described purgatory as a place where time feels like longing, and heaven as a place where longing becomes fulfillment. And between the two, he said, stands Mary, carrying all the forgotten prayers of the faithful. Padre Pio's last teaching about the Hail Mary was one of his simplest. He repeated it often, almost like a farewell message. Pray for the dead, help them, love them. A single Hail Mary may be the moment they meet God. There was no drama in his voice when he said it, no theatrics, no exaggeration, just certainty born not from books, but from what he had seen with his own eyes. For Padre Pio, the power of one Hail Mary wasn't a theory, it was a truth he lived, witnessed, and trusted more than anything. And in the silence of his final days, when he could barely speak, the friars heard him whispering the same words again and again. Hail Mary, Hail Mary, Hail Mary. It was the last prayer he ever said. The prayer he believed could save anyone. The prayer he believed could change eternity.